everyone. I hope you're all doing very well. It is Platinum Jubilee weekend, so hopefully you've all got a nice 4 days off. I was pretty lucky to get 4 days off, so I'm out with a cold actually. It's been a bit of a coldy the last few days, but I wanted to get out anyway to make a video because it's been a couple of weeks. So thanks very much for watching. Today I decided to talk about particularly for those of you that are just looking to get your first bike, or looking for any big bike really, but mainly for the beginners, what the best bike is for, or best engine is for your first choice. So we'll cover a couple of different engines. I'm not going to go into expert level detail because I'm just not an expert, but I can speak on my own experience as to what engines I found really good for when I was just starting out. Obviously there's two different main types of engine that people are going to cover, which is 4-stroke and also 2-stroke, but to be honest I don't think we'll cover 2-stroke because most bikes on the road now are going to be 4, and if you're looking for your first big bike, which is going to be anywhere from 300 to over 1,000, you got some cruisers now which are like 2,000 or something cc, they're going to be a 4-stroke. So first off, when I got my first bike, I went straight into an inline 4. Now inline 4 is probably the most common type of engine. It's obviously a 4-stroke, like I say, and it's the smoothest. It's by far the smoothest. You could compare it with a boxer engine, but they're a little bit different. So yeah, inline 4, I'll put a picture up now so you can see exactly what an inline 4 looks like. And you'll find that the type of bikes of an inline 4 are going to be 600s, 750s, 1000s. The bike I'm currently on is an inline 4. Doesn't sound like one of the reasons why I like it. But yeah, this is an inline 4. It's just a cross plane. Annoying Land Rover just didn't even look. That annoys me. Anyway, back to the subject in hand. An inline 4, smooth, a lot of high-end power at the top. That's what they're well known for. They're very screamy, especially if you get a 600. They're very screamy awesomeness. Get a 1000cc inline 4, and as your first bike, if you're looking for a 1000cc inline 4, you're probably nuts. I just hit the indicator, the horn. That was embarrassing. So yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend looking for an inline 4000cc bike, but yeah, inline 4, super smooth, quite forgiving, I would say, all around easy. So a good choice if you're going for a 600 or something like that, like I don't know, a Bandit, a Gixxer 650, Gixxer 700, sorry. Good choice. The next type of engine we're going to talk about is one that I've owned. We're going to talk about the VTwin. So yeah, the VTwins, obviously they're going to sound very different to an inline 4. They sound more thumpy, probably, do they sound more aggressive? Maybe. A good example of a VTwin, if you want to look one up, is, a Suzuki SV650 or the SV1000. Why are you even in this lane? Well, this is nice. No idea what that is. Bosom? Pass. Anyway guys, back to the VTwin. So the VTwins, they have a beautiful way of giving you that low down torque. That low down, especially if you're commuting, that low down torque is really handy going through towns, and from roundabout to roundabout, that torque is really great. Other engines you want to have a look at, definitely. Again, I've owned one of these. It's a parallel twin. I had a KTM 790 with a parallel twin, and again, it had the same similar sort of characteristics to a VTwin. Nice and torquey, made a really cool noise. It also depends on the crank position, like the order of firing. So I had a parallel twin with was it a 270 crank? I think makes a massive difference, the firing order, to how a bike engine behaves. Oh god, I can't stop sniffing. So for example, the bike I've got is an Inline 4, but it has a cross-plane crank. Now I won't go into the detail, but it essentially alters the firing order rather than the conventional. That's why you get a normal screaming sound in Inline 4, like, you know, your traditional bike noise, whereas this one sounds a bit like a V-twin, or a V4 even. This has a similar sort of sound to that, and it has great characteristics. It's one of the reasons why I bought this bike. Oh, the sky's just gone very dark. Oh, sweet peas. Interesting. Lots of people sell stuff in the countryside. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Moving on to another engine, the V4. I mean, if you're looking for your first bike, realistically, are you looking for a V4? Probably not. V4s, you'll only find them really on stuff like Panigales and, you know, RSV4s, Tuonos, bikes of the likes of those, and they're probably not the sort of bike you're gonna be looking at. Where am I? I have no idea where I am. We'll go this way. But yeah, if you're after a V4, again, the characteristics: strong mid-range. They sound probably arguably the best noise of a motorcycle you could find. I do think the R1s and the MT10, I feel like that's up there with the V4 sounds. They sound awesome. Especially if you're a beginner, I think one of the engines you should definitely have a look at, for just pure fun factor, and just, you know, it's not so serious, but it's awesome fun, is a thumper, single cylinder thumper. Such as most supermotos, to be honest with you. They all have a single cylinder, like a 600 supermoto, like a CCM, or a Aprilia SX, it was an SXV or something, I think it's called. This looks fun. Let's go down here. Very nice place around here. I want to live here. Look at these houses. Oh my god, the road is much to be desired though. Look at that. I have an insect in my eyelash. I can feel it struggling for its life. Every time I blink, I'm like drowning it a little bit more, which isn't pleasant. But yeah, the thumper. Supermotos. If you haven't experienced a supermoto, it's a bike that you should definitely have in the garage. They're so fun. They're wheelie monsters, but they're not like serious wheelie monsters, as in when you're doing 60, 70, 80 miles an hour and they lift the front wheel up. They're more like, you know, low speed wheelie monsters, and they handle like, they're like the Lotus Elise of bikes. Right, this is going to be a weird one. So for those of you who have not, or maybe you're just looking at your first bikes, it may sound a bit funny, but a boxer engine. Now, a boxer engine for your first bike is probably not a bad call, to be honest with you. It's not an engine that's very common among people I know, or, you know, I don't know many people with them, but they are quite popular on really good bikes, such as the GS. I mean, everyone knows how good the BMW GS is as a bike, and how smooth it is, comfortable to use, and you know, if I was to go back and I wanted to do a tour, lots of touring and a lot of mileage, and I could afford it, I would definitely consider a BMW GS, like 850 or something like that, an adventure bike. They're so fun, and you know, you don't need to be going slow. You don't need a super fast bike to go that fast, and they're a good example of that. They're not slow. They are definitely not slow. So yeah, definitely have a go. I think they're strong through pretty much the whole range, but they're nice and They're nice and smooth, they have a unique sound. They sound, actually, I think they sound awesome when they're being opened up. I mean, look at the R9Ts. The R9Ts are really nice bikes, sound really cool. They definitely shift, you can track them if you want to. So definitely an engine you should have a look at. If I could go back to when I was just past my test, I would go into every single dealership and I would try as many bikes as I could. That's ultimately the best advice possible, is to choose the bike that suits your needs and the one you like the most. Don't buy the one that's going to kill you, i.e. the V4, unless you really fancy that. What else have we got? We've definitely got one of the best to come, which is obviously a triple. The good old triple. So arguably probably one of the best. There's a kitty. Arguably one of the best engines around. The Triumph, specifically we'll go with the Triumph just because they do it well. The triple engine, especially a 675cc or 765cc, they are an engine. They got super strong mid-range, strong torque. The top end isn't too bad either. They sound really cool. I mean, I love the sound of a street triple. They just sound awesome. And they are great beginner engines, and equally they're great advanced engines. That freaked me out as a child, just staring at me. Jesus. Definitely go try the 765. Super great bike, actually very fast bike. I don't know if I would probably get an old 675 because they're just such good value for what they are. You can pick them up for like even as low as £2,500 now, which is insane. Considering when they came out, they were dominant for ages. They were the dominant force. Engine was loved, the bike was loved, the chassis was insane. The bike was definitely a Yobbo style bike, and everyone loved it. Everyone loves the fun, and you'll notice in lots of reviews, people slate manufacturers when they go above and beyond. When the bike's got too many electronics, like many BMW bikes, many BMW products have so much electronics. In some cases it's good, but for raw riding and just enjoying yourself like this, it's I don't know, are they necessary? Not really. There's too many things to think about. I suppose this video is going to be irrelevant in 10, 15, 20 years time, because we're all going to electric, which brings me on to the electric motor. Should you consider an electric bike currently? Now I'm going to say, in the current climate, where we've got, I don't know how many years we've got left, I think 2030 or 2040, I can't remember, but it's not very long. We're going to have, well, all manufacturers have to switch away from the conventional combustion engine, which is a sad time. I guess it's necessary, but yeah, it is what it is. Ooh. Yeah, I don't really think we have the infrastructure for electric bikes just yet. I think they need a few more years of development, unless you want a city bike, so like a scooter. I know BMW just brought out a fancy looking scooter, and it looks really good actually. And if that's what you're after for the city and stuff like that, it would be really good torquey engines. The power is, I mean, people slate electric, but you've got 100% of the available power there. It's not like an engine which needs to build up, well, a conventional petrol diesel engine which needs to build up. It's an engine that's got that power instantly, so they're not too bad. Definitely one you should actually maybe test ride. I need to test ride all these bloody bikes. I've been trying to test ride a Zero for yonks. They contacted me and then just forgot about me, I think. So thanks very much. Said the police force have got our Zero at the moment, but as soon as they're done with it, you can have it. That was the end. So I need to chase them, really. There is an engine that I shouldn't really mention it, but if I mention it, you can Google it and then have a laugh. The Wenkel engine, aka the Rotary engine. Now, for a beginner, if it's your first bike, you're not going to buy one of these. To be honest, no one really in the modern age, unless you're a real collector of sorts, is probably going to buy a Rotary motorcycle. I do know someone who has one, who I work with, and shout out to you, Dave, I think it's yours, who post his link down below in the descriptions if you want to have a look at his one, or the one he had on his channel the other day, just to give it a start up and what they're like. Crazy. I mean, rotary engines are awesome in general. They're quite a cool thing, but probably you're not going to look for one if you're looking for your first bike, and probably most people aren't. They're high maintenance, they're not really realistic, they're more of a showpiece, but cool engines nevertheless, and very powerful. So yeah, that sort of brings me to, I think I've covered most engines you're going to find on a, you know, on Auto Trader or on eBay, etc. I don't think there's they're the most common that you should look for. And you know, if you are looking for your first bike, or your first big bike anyway, you're not sure about all these configurations, then just go and test ride them. Even if you can't afford a brand new bike, which is the case for a lot of people, I can't just go and buy a new bike, especially the one I want a V4 Aprilia, but they're like jokes money. Just go and test ride one anyway. At least you get to know what the engine sounds like, is like. And to be honest, they haven't really changed the engines too much anyway, not in the past few years. That manufacturers, you know, they've come quite far with motorcycles, and there's not too much on them that they are lacking. So give it a go. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If it was, please give the video a like, give it a thumbs up. I will see you soon. Give it a subscribe if you want. If not, don't worry about it. Peace.